How about now? Maybe people can hear me. Can you guys hear me? If so, raise your hand in the I can hear Mike, go to webinar, hand raising, control panel. Great, there we go. Makes me feel, like something's being accomplished. Cool. So there's a bunch of handouts, some of which I'm going to refer to. Some are there for you to, maybe review a little bit. And we're going to talk about a variety of different things related to all this. Let me see where to get started. See, a little B-roll in the background. So let's just say that what is it that real estate agents are paid to do? And how do you make money as a real estate agent? And of all the things that a real estate agent could do, what's the thing that they would need to do the most? What's the hardest part? What's the most challenging part? What's the part that produces the most rewards? And the answer is it's getting clients. And so, all right, how do you get clients? Well, if you're a good talker and a good networker and you know a lot of people and you talk to the people you know, that's a way to get clients. If you have run out of those people or don't have a lot of people that you know, or the people you know can't buy anything right now and they don't have anything to sell, then you're going to have to talk to people you don't know. Right now, the purpose of talking to people that you don't know is so that you can get to know them and eventually have a conversation with them and eventually help them buy or sell or invest in real estate. So that out of the options, right, of how do I market myself, how do I create a brand for myself, how do I have interactions with clients, we make a list, right? Some of them are inexpensive, right? But there's almost always some sort of an expense involved if you want to do it well. So for example, I could be making phone calls, but then I might need a dialer and I might need to buy the list and there's some, expense to that. I might do flyers or postcards, but that costs money too. And I might do digital marketing. Now, if you're hungry and would like to make a lot of money in real estate, you would want to do all of those different things. But we're going to start with digital because we're in an environment where that's important, as well as where door knocking and networking is not so much right now. So the traditional real estate methods, which would be printing, the telephone, outdoor broadcasting, I've had agents that have billboards, on Highway 101 that park benches they fought over to get their name on them, and of course they're at the the grocery store or whatever, and they rely on the 4 P's, right, of marketing: product, price, place, promotion. But the traditional marketing, it's hard to know if I put up a sign how many people saw it, well, who were they, or if they took any action unless they actually called me. So digital marketing methods allow people to interact with us, right? And so we talk about prospecting, which is an old term, lead generation, right? Which is generating a lead that in old time school would have meant that they contacted you or you contacted them. In social media, how do we know we have a lead? Right? Is it because they want to buy a house, sell a house, and want us to work with them immediately? That's more down the path. How do we have, what does a lead look like if it is on a social channel? And the answer is it's a conversation. So when somebody DMs you, somebody responds to you, and you respond to them, and that's a lead, right? And the lead is from the interaction. It's a conversation. They also, by the way, there's search engine optimization that can go with it, which we're going to talk about, and it can make email marketing effective and effective and less costly. Right? I don't know if I worded that correctly, but what we can do is tie our social media posts to search engine optimization. So we're trying to get people to go to our website. And also we could refer to it in our email marketing. And we can target people with a targeted message. I'm going to talk about that as we get into this, where we could target people based upon a lot of different where they are at the time, and even other kinds of demographics. We can import lists of people, and the more targeted our message is, the more effective it's going to be. And we can measure, right? I was explaining to I was explaining to somebody today this morning about when I use a form for people to register for a webinar or something that I'm doing, how I use a Google Sites form, because it allows me to put in a Google Analytics tracking code, which means if I get 10, 20, 50 people that register for an event, I can sort of figure out where they came from, right? Because Google will track them. I know a whole lot more about who I'm marketing to and what they're doing if I'm doing it digital, way more than traditional marketing. So there's search engine, SEO is search engine optimization. How would you like to be ranked on the first page of Google results for something useful, right? So real estate social media marketing, Google search ads and display ads for real estate. Now I'm going through the list. Usually when people are taking the baby steps, right? You're starting with Facebook, maybe LinkedIn, Twitter, maybe you're doing Instagram or TikTok or whatever, right? But usually people are just starting with that. As you progress, you're going to find that running Google ads or adds a different layer to what your results are going to get. We're going to talk about real estate content marketing. I might even show you a hack or two on how to make that easier, and real estate video marketing. Now, I've been doing the video marketing for a while, but if you've been following my YouTube channel, and not enough of you have, you can see that the look is changing and I'm evolving in it. And I recently hit 1,000 subscribers on my main YouTube channel. And I'll talk a little bit about that and how you can use video marketing also in real estate. So first of all, do you have a goal? Now, most real estate agents are going to say, "Yeah, I want to feed myself and my family. I want to be able to pay my rent. I need to make some money. That's my goal." All right, yeah. Now that's the end result from what we're doing. But are you looking to do digital marketing because you want to grow your database, right? And by the way, this should be it should be a yes. I'd like to do that. Would you like to improve your lead conversion so that when you do have somebody who's expressing an interest in buying, selling, or investing in real estate, you have a better chance of getting them because of the social media presence and your brand, which is backing you up? Would you like more referrals? Who wouldn't, right? And there are ways in which you could use social media that would help you get referrals from other areas, from other types of people, and to grow a brand on social media, right? To grow a brand. Is that important? One of the documents that I've uploaded for you to look at is, it's a few years old, but it's from a company called Hubspot. And one of the things that HubSpot has is a lot of ebooks and training material that you can use. And they even produced one just for real estate, which we may take a peek at, but you ought to take a peek at it. But where I'm going with this is that I'm really familiar with HubSpot and their brand, right? They had a free CRM, which I've used. I've read many of their ebooks and that sort of stuff. And they're all about content marketing or inbound marketing. There have been times when I will do a search in Google for something, and I'm looking at the results, and down near the bottom sometimes I see something from HubSpot. There's a good chance I'm going to click on it, right? So even though somebody ranked higher than they did in the search engine results of Google, I know their brand. And so I'm more likely to click on that link than even a higher ranked one by Google that I'm not familiar with. You get the idea. There's value in having a brand. There's value in having also. So who's your audience? Now, is it past clients and Sphere? buyers, sellers, and we might need to say, none of you guys are I'm sure, ready to type and to participate and all of that sort of stuff. What would you say if you were doing social media marketing? What group, and you could pick from the groups that are on the screen, buyers, sellers, past clients, or your sphere of influence. If we look at those three, which one would you say you would rather have conversations with, you would rather get leads in? If you had to pick one of the three groups, which one would that be? Would it be buyers, that you want to have a connection with potential buyers? Would it be, I want to have a connection with my past clients and sphere of influence? That's not certainly a bad thing. Or would it be potential sellers that I would like to have a conversation with? I don't know if anybody's voting, but let's just assume, I could have made a poll, but didn't have a lot of time. I know somebody's going to say, sellers. Thank you, Ken, for saying the obvious, right? Isn't that what we want? Sellers. We got another, yes, thank you. Amen. Sellers, isn't that what you want? Sellers, right? This is what a typical real estate agent wants out of social media. I don't want to have to spend any money. Yeah, I don't want to spend any money. And I want listings, right? That's what I want. I want listings. I don't want, I don't want really low class listings, right? Because I want to make more money by selling higher end properties. All right. So, all right, that's what I want, right? I want sellers. We all agree out of this group, we'd love to have sellers. Now, what I would ask you to do is to think about what you post on social media. And the question is, or if you're even using stuff from other third parties to post on social media, if you were to look at all of your posts on social media, what would you say they're weighted towards? Are they weighted towards sellers, or is it weighted towards buyers? What would you guess, right? In most social media posts by real estate agents, where do they lean, buyers or sellers? And I see people are alive. Buyers, unfortunately, yeah. Like, I'll tell you from my experience, over 90% of the stuff I see real estate agents posting are more buyer-oriented material, right? But what do we want? We want sellers. By the way, after sellers, what would be the second group you would want? Now we've all agreed we want listings, but between buyers or to connect with our past customers or a sphere of influence, buyers or connect with our past customers and sphere of influence, which would you think would be choice number two? And I now that people are voting, I should at least play it on. Past clients and sphere of influence, yes. So if we were to rank these, we would say sellers first, our past clients, and our sphere of influence second. And okay, well, a buyer, I guess, that would be number three. But if we analyze the content we're posting, how much of it is geared to past clients and sphere of influence and geared to sellers versus buyers, and it's usually way more for buyers because they're the easiest to find stuff to post about. All right. What do we post for sellers? I have agents that say, I've been trying to get sellers on social media and it's just not working. Well, what are you posting? You can find out for free instantly what your home is worth. Free instant home valuation. I post that all the time. It's just not working. It's been done before, right? It's been done for a long time before. There's only about 50 different home valuation instant things that you can get and put out there. And occasionally somebody will fill them out, but I've done thousands of them, literally, right? Thousands of people have replied to these things, and very few of them actually ended up selling their house. So what is your home worth? Call me if you want me to tell you. Yeah, that's really obvious, but not necessarily effective. So of all the people that fall into these categories, potential buyers, potential sellers, and past clients and sphere would be either buyers or sellers, investors, or somebody that would know somebody. What percentage of them are likely to be doing anything in the next 12 months? Out of all, if we had 1,000 names of people, and we were to ask how many of them are likely to be doing, I'll make it 100. All right, 100 people, what percentage of them are actually likely to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the next 12 months? Maybe 10%, right? Maybe 10, right? It varies depending on a lot of different factors. But if people move every 10 years, then that means that every year, on average, 1/10 of the people are moving, which means 90% of them are not. So that means 90% of the people that you're digitally marketing to are not interested right now in buying, selling, or investing in real estate. They're not. So does our content take into consideration that we want to be talking to people that are going to be selling now, but also people that are going to be selling later and people that are going to be selling even a lot later, right? Would we want to segment our audience to realize that there are different phases that buyers and sellers go through, and that maybe we ought to be designing content for the different phases rather than doing what most real estate agents are doing, which is just going to the end result and saying, hey, I'll tell you what your home is worth. All right, now this, by the way, I think I started by saying that this isn't necessarily the easiest way to make a living, right? You understand now I've had agents say the social media stuff, it's way more complicated than I thought. It sounds like an awful lot of work. I don't know if I want to put it that much work. All right, fine, cold call people, right? Cold call people. Go door knock when you can do that again. Spend money on postcards and flyers and things. You understand? I mean, if that doesn't sound like a lot of fun either to a lot of people, right? But this requires an investment in time. Who's your audience? Let me see. What am I doing? So if your marketing message tries to appeal to everyone in your database, they're just going to ignore you, right? By and large, they'll just ignore you. And again, I already covered that, right? So we want to focus on the people we want. Sellers and past clients, right? We already went through that. Why should you market your business? So these are from some different organizations. There's 126% more lead growth attributed to small businesses with blogs compared to small businesses without blogs. Have any of you ever hired somebody or found somebody, a vendor, through the fact that they had a blog? I have. Right, clients in Oakland, single family home with a, let's just say a sewer lateral easement issue, right? For a sewer lateral in an easement and an encroachment issue, right? It was very specific. And so I had talked to real estate lawyers in the Oakland area. And as soon as I would say encroachment, they'd say, nah, we don't do that, right? Do you know anybody that does? No, we don't know anybody that does. So I did a Google search for encroachment, legal encroachment issues in Oakland, and there's a lawyer who's in Oakland who has a blog, and he's written a blog article about encroachment issues, which aren't exactly like mine, but it's obvious that he does that kind of work. The seller ended up hiring, right? So there's evidence that companies, businesses, and this is your business, that have blogs do better than the ones that do not. 3 times more leads are generated through content marketing than traditional marketing. So content marketing is like the lawyer posting a blog article about encroachment and what you can do to deal with them and that sort of stuff. That's content marketing, because I did a Google search and Google connected me to that blog. Right? He didn't have to pay anything, right? There's free blogging platforms, right? So you don't necessarily even have to pay anything to have the blog. You just have to pay in terms of time and putting in content. There's a 6-time higher conversion rate for companies and brands that use content marketing than those who don't, right? So content marketing is also known as, it can be organic search, where you just come up in the search engines. It can be paid for as well. So where would you post? Everywhere. And there's actually more of these. This is sort of just this isn't the whole list. I just realized that the design element of this sort of shrunk it a little bit. A blog post, a Facebook profile and a page, an email blast, right? Instagram stories and posts, Twitter, LinkedIn. There are more, right? There's quite a long list. And the answer is you should probably post everywhere. And I've had agents say, I don't use Twitter. I don't know anybody that use Twitter. A lot of people use Twitter, right? I'm just saying, right? Just because you don't doesn't mean other people don't either. You may not be into Instagram, but there are a lot of people that are into Instagram. So the goal would be that you post everywhere. Now, I actually use some software to do that, which I'll talk about when I get to hacks, which are going to be coming up, I guess. But there's ways of automating that a little bit, but you want to post everywhere because you don't know where the people are going to come from. So how often, right? Don't take, there's what was the football coach? Don't take a week off, right? Was sort of one of his models. Don't take a week off. So the perfect plan would involve weekly content and then listing promotions of life cycles, right? This is when you start getting business. But consistency is essential, right? Doubling down, you've created in ICYMI, in case you missed it email, right? And so this is a way, in case you missed it kind of a post is a way for you to recycle content that you have, take things that you posted on social media, link them in an email so that we're doing it all together. What content should you post? Well, one way to look at this, if you were to look at a plan, right, you might have 1 week would be sellers or past clients or sphere, right? Something like that. Week 2, sellers, past clients, or sphere. Week 3, sellers, past clients, or sphere. And by the way, when I'm doing that, I mean you might have posts that are aimed at sellers. You might have posts aimed at past clients or sphere of influence. They might be the same post, but they might not. And week 4, maybe after you've done 3 posts that are aimed at sellers or past clients and sphere of influence, maybe week 4, do a post on buyers. And then the 5th week is in case you've missed it, where you go and pick out some of the posts that did very well, that got comments that people liked, and you say, hey, in case you missed, did you miss my post? A lot of people liked it. It was shared a lot of the time. Why don't you check it out? Right, recycling, So the listings, this is the part that most agents already understand, and they do generally a better job of this than other digital marketing, which is if I get a listing, I'm going to have a coming soon, right? Make a coming soon flyer, I'm going to post it. I'm going to have a just listed one, I'm going to post it. When I do an open house, I'm going to post that. If the price is reduced, I'll post that, right? And then when it's sold, I'm going to post that, right? Now that's, sure, right? If you have a listing, you ought to go through the listing lifestyle and make those posts. That's in addition to what you're doing in the other campaigns, right? It's in addition to your campaign for sellers and sphere of influence, you ought to be doing this. Of course, this assumes you have a listing. Now you can borrow listings sometimes from other agents. I've talked about that in another class, but what this is really looking at is it's, maybe your listing. Coming soon, right? Where you've seen those, these are just some samples of some posts of that, where that would be one of the first steps. Here's a listing, you put in a lot of pictures, you've all seen them. By the way, when you see other agent stuff that looks good to you, you might want to save it, you might want to, keep a copy of it just to refer to later, I'm just saying. If there's a price reduction or an open house, because right now the homes aren't on the market very long, but if that were to change, sometimes we need something else to talk about, right? And then finally, as we go all the way along, it's just sold, that's it. So one of the other things that, I don't know if this is the right spot to do it, some of this I'm jumping around. What kind of content might we want to sphere of influence, past customers, clients, and for that matter, just about anybody? And one of the campaigns that social media and digital marketing, and notice I called this digital marketing, not just social media, because digital marketing would include websites, it would include blogs, it would include email marketing, right? It includes more than just social media. But one of the things you might want to look at are holidays, right? Holidays. Is there a holiday coming up soon? Anybody know of a holiday coming up in soon? November. Is there a holiday in November that's not Thanksgiving? Holiday, November, not Thanksgiving. Anybody? Oh, boy. How about Veterans Day? Let's just start with that, see if somebody get it. Every day is a holiday. Yeah. How about Veterans Day? How about Veterans Day? Right? A holiday. Coming up on November 11th. So what would, some of you, probably all of you, got the email that we sent out before Halloween, right? Which had a Halloween theme. It had content you're used to seeing, but then it had other content that was of Halloween nature, right? So first of all, there's a when and then there's a what, right, involved in this. The first question is, if I were going to do something around Veterans Day, when, and so Ken makes the comment that he tried National Donuts Day. All good things can be overdone, right? So you'll find if you Google search that every day is a screwy holiday of some sort. An occasional post about one of those that's particularly funny, particularly if you have a funny video that goes with it, that works. Posting the weird holiday too often, people kind of tune out. So the first question is, let's talk about Veterans Day. I'm just going to go through a social media example, if that's okay with you guys. I'm going to do it even if you don't want me to. Anyhow, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to Google. I'm going to try and keep it in. Google Trends. So I'm putting together a marketing plan for Veterans Day. What is it? Right now, Taylor Swift and Kim Kardashian says a lot about us, doesn't it? Is what's trending in the world. It's the World Cup, right? But anyhow, let's just try Veterans Day. Let's just try Veterans Day. All right. So what is Google going to tell me? That looks flat. That's not helpful. So I'm going to go over here, and instead, I'm going to go back to the past 5 years. Now, what this, see, it looks like my EKG, only better. What this is showing is that on certain days, like so here, well, this is the peak interest, and it's between, notice how it's peaking between November 6th through the 12th, right, is up at that. So what this is telling us right here is the 3 days before, right, is when we're getting more action, right? So what we do with the Google Trends is identify how much in advance are people likely to be searching for Veterans Day. Now, according to this, that between October 30th and November 5th, you can see that's when the line started to go up. As we get to the top after it peaks, right, November 6th to the 12th, and then obviously if it's on the 11th. So what this is telling me that we ought to start tomorrow, all right? That's sort of the message that I'm getting from this. Because we want to do a lead up, right? November 6th, right? We ought to be starting tomorrow. So what this allows me to do is to identify at what point in the sequence, the calendar sequence, are people going to start showing interest in a particular event. Now, the reason why this is important, what I want to do with this is I don't want to be late, right? I don't want to be the guy that learns that the clocks are changing because everybody else is saying so on social media. Darn, I should have posted that too, right? You know, you want to be the one that is first or near the beginning, but not too far first that people are like, what's he doing? It's nowhere close to that day, right? So we know when there's going to be an increase in interest for whatever this event is, right? And then we can use that information in terms of making a plan as to when we're going to post and when we're going to do stuff. I'm just saying. So we know when it is, what day, is it always on a Monday? Can veterans take the day off? These are questions, by the way, that people ask. I might pay attention to the questions that people ask. And if we scroll down to the bottom, it shows other searches and there's other things. We're not going to use that right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I might as well, Veterans Day marketing ideas for real estate agents. How about that? Because I've identified when, right? I want to do something that recognizes there's Veterans Day. There's obviously increased interest in that at particular times. I'd like to cash in on that in a patriotic way. There's Inman, and that usually means that you might need to pay to get into that. For marketing ideas from the Small Business Administration. That's not necessarily Pinterest. You're going to find usually has a lot of stuff, right? So Inman, a primer for agents celebrating patriotic holidays. How about that? Here's a bunch of them. And Inman wrote up something about it. If I go to Pinterest, it's going to show me posts, right? And ideas and things like that that I might be able to, well, you know, borrow, let's just say. Marketing ideas for, and then sometimes I'll look at just images because a lot of times there are pictures not only of images, but of marketing materials and things like that. And if we keep looking, I know there's more because I've seen more. Let me go. Patriotic restaurant, a nice niche market for real estate agents helping veterans. So this is going a little bit further because it's talking about things you could do as a real estate agent to connect with veterans. You get here's top 15 veteran social media posts updated for what that may be 2019, 11 reasons they make amazing realtors and something else, Postcard Mania, and other people would like to sell you stuff. Now, hopefully you get my point now, which is that if you looked at a calendar and you see things that are coming up, and then you look at Google Lens and it tells you when people are going to be doing searches for it, you can then plan to do some marketing. Then you research the topic and you find images, you can find videos. Can you find videos? Probably. Videos on 100 Facebook marketing ideas for realtors, 100, there's a lot of stuff here. And then there's a lot of video sites where you could actually download a video, like a GIF video that would play that you could post that go along with veterans. That's just an example. Right now, most months have holidays. And when I'm doing Halloween or Veterans Day, one of the things that I would do is I would look for Veterans Day events. Veteran organizations, we're just going to go to Veterans Day events. So there's Veterans Day parades, events, and more for 2020. I don't know how many parades there are. Veterans Day events in California, activities for Veterans Day, Morgan Hill Veterans Day run. There are the 2020 veteran. Does everybody get the idea? And right now we don't have as many events because, you know, there's this virus going around. But as a general rule, you're going to be able to find events. So I look for things to do during the holiday. If it things to do, recipes, party ideas, places to go, things to do, and put it together into something, right? Now that something you guys usually see as an email from me, But I also, at times, depending on how focused I am, take that content and put it on the blog, right? So the blog is connected to my website. I put it on my blog. And then when I'm sharing it, I share the blog post, right? So if I have a blog post that has all the events, and by the way, I also do farmers markets and a bunch of other things. Do you know who could send you those? The title companies used to send those. I think they may or may not be doing it because of the pandemic, but you can Google search. And so I would have a list of events and I would have farmers markets that are going on. And, you know, it was basically the November, what's happening, you know, in November, that sort of stuff. You put it on your blog. You then from the blog share it on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and other places. That gets people, if they click to go to your website, you're doing marketing now, right? That you're doing inbound content. Anyhow, that was the discussion of Google Trends, and what is considered, you know, baiting it, clickbait or something like that, is when you look for something that's trending, right? And by the way, Google gets mad at you, and you don't want Google mad at you, but you look for something that's trending, and like notice Taylor Swift is trending, right? So what real estate agents will do is they'll think, well, how can I come up with some marketing piece that involves Taylor Swift, right? Using her name, like the marketing lessons I've learned from Taylor Swift, right? So that we're looking for words that we know good people are searching for, and we're trying to incorporate them in. That works a little bit. Just don't tick off Google, right? Because they're BuzzSumo is just another site that I haven't looked at recently, but I've used in the past a lot, where again, it'll simply tell us what's trending, right? And even as you can see from the screenshot, I could type in this case, they typed in Boston real estate market, and it shows a whole bunch of things that are trending. By the way, once you start finding one of these, it gets easier to find more, because now you say, well, who are BuzzSumo's competitors? I want other programs like it. And you'll find that there are a lot of programs out there that would analyze what's being searched for in social media and what's hot, that would allow you to create content. So all these are all things that you could be doing. You could be broadcasting, digital, pay-per-click, PPC, search engine optimization, SEO, email, social media, websites, etc. That's all digital. If you're able to do direct mail and face-to-face, even seminars and clients events, and you're doing mobile marketing, and you've got outdoor marketing and print marketing and telemarketing, like that's pretty much the whole package, right? That's pretty much the whole package. And you'll get more results if you're promoting yourself from the other ones. So this is from a digital marketing strategy survey, and they were looking at, this was sort of a survey asking marketing influencers what's most effective. Content marketing comes first, and I'm going to give you some examples of how to come up with content marketing. I'm going to show you what I do. Search engine optimization, email marketing. Now, I've had people say, well, you know, email marketing, that's old and no, it doesn't work anymore. It does, and people read their email. Now, if it's not working for you, I just sent out an email and I got a bunch of appointments from it. But what I've done is when I'm about to do the email, I'll tend to look at what kind of subject lines people open that are related to whatever it is I'm doing. What are those subject lines? So if I'm writing an email, I start with the subject line, because if the subject line isn't good, no one's going to open it, right? And then work on the content. And yeah, I get appointments from doing that. After email marketing, search and social ads, data-driven personalization, not sure what that is, marketing technology usage, that means using programs like one I may show you. Q is one of the ones I use. It's like Buffer or Hootsuite. And then notice social media marketing is near the bottom. Yes, Facebook advertising, I do that too. It doesn't produce the results that it used to. It seems like it's become saturated. Everybody, it seems like is advertising, and I see these things sort of go through phases, right? And I'm just saying. The other thing I'm going to say about Facebook before I talk about content marketing and some related stuff is Facebook has become a pay-to-play platform. Pay to play. Now, if you want to get, I'll just make sure everybody understands the terms. As a general idea, there's two ways of getting people to go to a website or anything. There's really three, but one of them is offline, right? I could tell people to go. I could put it on my business cards. I could put it on flyers. I could drop leaflets from the air. That's offline. But online, there's generally speaking two ways that people are going to find it, right? Without me having to tell it to them. One is an organic search. Like when I typed in encroachment issues in Oakland, right? And a lawyer's blog post came up, that was an organic search. He didn't have to pay for that. But the other is pay-per-click advertising, because when I did that search, there's a bunch of people that appeared, other lawyers on the side, where they had in their profile the keyword encroachment, and their ads were popping up in front of me. So that's organic search. You don't have to pay for, but your content has to be good. It has to be unique. It has to be up to date. It just has to be. Or Google is not going to reward you by putting you at the top of their search engine results page. The other is pay-per-click. The other is pay-per-click. And there were companies, every time Google would change their search algorithm, and a lot of companies went out of business. I remember this guy was selling wedding favors, and he had created this online business, and he had done all of these things so that he would rank on the top page of Google search. And like he had a barge filled with these wedding things that you give away, that you sell, on its way to the United States, and Google changed their algorithm. And the result is that instead of coming up on the first page of Google search, they were like on page 10. And you understand, nobody goes to page 10. So they went broke, and they were complaining. They tried suing Google, right? They tried that. That seems like gee, why not, right? I'm sure they'll cave quickly. Tried to sue Google and saying, you ruined my business. And Google said, no, if you want to show up on the first page of search results for wedding favors, it's really easy to do. Just pay us, and we'll make sure that you show up, right? Pay us. That's the way you're going to do it. So organic relies on Google's algorithm, right? Relies on Google to send you leads, right? But doesn't cost anything. Pay-per-click is you pay, you get clicks. And in Facebook, it's become a pay-per-click world. So organically in Facebook, the only real organic kind of traction you can get is on your personal profile, right? Because you have a personal profile and then you have pages. And Facebook does not let people see what you post on your business page without you paying them. They don't. And the reason they don't is because they want you to pay them. And if they allowed people to find your business page without you paying them, you would never pay them, because you don't need to, because people are able to find it anyhow. So they don't let anybody find it unless you pay them. And on your personal profile, where you can have more organic search, if you put links and things into your posts, Facebook lowers the visibility of those posts, especially if the link is taking somebody off of Facebook. They figure out they're selling something else using Facebook. And so they'll just, it's a pay to play. So where I was going with all that is that, can you get leads from digital marketing without spending a lot of money? The answer is yes, but it requires a lot of work, right? In that you have to create content that people would organically find. So what else did I give you in terms of handouts? One of them was online marketing for real estate, which is that the one I wanted? Let me just see what that one is. Yeah, Hubstaff, which is Hubspot, right? Hubspot, I mentioned those people. This is a very good article. Most of the Hubspot stuff is pretty good, where it talks about blogging and content creation, and there's different kinds of platforms. I've taught classes on WordPress. I currently host several WordPress sites. I'm not that active on them, but other agents that I work with are. And there's Google Analytics. By the way, there's a company called Simple Learn, which has video training programs on digital marketing, which is like 10 hours long, right? This is a very long subject. Any tips on what works with print advertising? Not today, not print advertising today. Today is digital day. What else did I want to? So I included some articles of things that I thought were interesting. They were to me. And this is an article that I got from the Digital Marketing Institute about real estate and the importance of digital marketing, and about these are very obvious things. An email campaign. The email system I use to send emails to all of you, it costs $6 a user a month for, like, it would cost $6 a month for what's called a G Suite account. And then the software costs $28 a year. Right? That's what I use for email marketing, and I can send out 1,500 emails in a 24-hour period using that system. But email campaigns, and by the way, I can track who's reading my email and who's clicking on the email, which allows me to maybe do a more focused follow-up, a friendly website, pay-per-click advertising, blog content, virtual tours, and you get the idea. I just thought this was a fun article. I just thought it was. All right. So let's talk about content, how to get it and what to do with it. I'm actually debating whether I should show you guys one thing, because this is probably going to go on the internet. But let me just give you an example. I'm going to go now. Those of you that have watched me do these things know that I'm a Google person, not an Apple person. Not that I haven't ever owned them, but I have an Android phone. And Google, one thing I really like about them, let's see, we're going to go to Google News, and I'm going to go down here to saved searches. So there's, first of all, topics and sources, right, that I'm following. Real estate economics, housing, it's a topic. United States housing bubble, COVID-19, bankruptcy, Lawrence Yun. If you don't know who he is, Google search it. Santa Clara County, inflation, real estate, there's some local ones. All right, and so to give you an idea, if I click on this, what they're going to do is to start showing me a bunch of different articles, right, that have come up in housing. And I can, you see this little icon here. If I click on it, then I could save it for later, right? If I clicked on it. So while I'm going through, I could click on more latest news. So if I go back to save searches, mortgage rates, that 7D means in the last 7 days, real estate market forecast, United States win at 7D represents something that happened in the last week. So when I click on this, I'm only looking at articles that are 1 week old, right? And some of these are, this looks like it's a bunch of other things, India and Canada and other places. But as I go through, will the US housing market crash in 2021? It's highly unlikely from the Home Buying Institute. I've already read that. I had it marked and I've already read it. CoreLogic's leading home price indicates forecasts accurate within 1.3 over the past 12 months. That means they're accurate, I guess. That's what it means. New business opportunities. You get where I'm going with this. And by the way, Google will, if I read an article about something, all of a sudden I'll start seeing more articles about that thing or things that Google thinks are related to it. So these mortgage moratorium, US economy news, eviction news, California, real estate market Bay Area. Right now, you understand I could create one that said Morgan Hill. There's other ways of doing this, but this is the easiest way to start finding content. San Francisco condos are the weakest real estate market, so why aren't they dropping more? Source suburban boom, Bay Area buyers scoop up inventory. Does everybody see these are all, and what I oftentimes will do is click on this here, oops, and go down and say past week and hit search. And now it's showing me articles that have appeared in the last week. If I were going to sell my home, what might I, let's say we've never talked about segmentation, right? And so I'm thinking of selling my home, but not this year, maybe not early next year, but maybe later next year or the year after. What content might I be interested in now, right? Content, I'm not selling my home for at least 6 months, but what content might I be interested in now? Well, if I were going to sell my home, would I be thinking about having it repaired, remodeled, fixed up, something like that? Remodels that pay off when you sell your home. Let's just see, I haven't done this one in this particular. All right, so renovators sell, best remodels to add home value, 8 reasons why people take out whatever, how to get a home improvement loan, this 5 improvements that may not pay off when you sell. So how about this? Here are the 5 things you ought to do to get ready to sell your home that will pay off when you sell it. And here are the 5 you ought to avoid. Right now, you'll notice you've seen lots of lists like that. There's a reason you've seen lots of lists like that, because they know that it works. People are interested in reading about the 5 things that do something or the 5 things to avoid. Tax issues, 9 of the best DIY renovation websites, whatever. And because I've done this before, I happen to know that there's a report called the cost versus value report. And if I search for that, and this might actually need to be done in the big one in Google, but if I search for the cost versus value report, I'm going to find cost versus value report. Here's one. It's not broken down in that place, but notice San Jose, California, right? Here's the different lists. I go to that. I click on this, I can download a report. Right now, what I can do is I can look at the report, and the report's going to show me, they want my information, which I'm not going to give them because I've done this before. By the way, I believe that if you're in my coaching program, you're going to find a copy of this report in the document library. Just saying, I think you will. All right, and so it will rank which of the remodels you get money back when you sell and which ones to avoid, and you would then write a little article. Right? First of all, you could read the different articles that other people have written and you would write your own. Let's talk about that. Content marketing assumes you have content. Right? What are your choices for content? One, you could use other people's content. There are services that provide stuff for you to post and blog on. I use one called Keeping Current Matters, right? And I also, in addition to Keeping Current Matters, there's something I get because I'm friends with a loan agent. And I just, let me see where it is. It's probably not going to show up. Here we go. And so because I know a friendly loan agent, I go down here. Here are something to share, which list reports provide. Home projects that spark the most joy for homeowners. There's even copy written. They even have hashtags for me. And I could share it on Facebook, I could copy it, I could pick out other ones, right? So one option is you could just use other people's stuff, right? Is that better than doing nothing? The answer is, yeah, that's probably better than doing nothing. Is that going to be super effective? Probably not. right? I mean, people see it, oh yeah, and then obviously a real estate agent posting, you know, your normal real estate stuff. But that's not necessarily, those aren't necessarily compelling or they're local. So you could just post stuff like that, keeping current matters. If you are friends with me on Facebook, you've seen that stuff, right? You've seen it from other agents. And again, that stuff other agents are using. It's not unique. It's not unique. So, all right, you're gonna write your own. Maybe you know how to do that, and maybe you don't, right? If you're good at writing, and then you can create content. And the way I create content for webinars and things like that is I go through all that Google search thing, and I find a bunch of articles, and I copy the material, and I read it, and I move things around, and I steal ideas, and I add some things, and I end up with something that doesn't look always exactly like what I started. How to find a good loan partner? Yes, we could do that. That's a good question. We should do that in the future. I might invite one or two, but what we're looking for in, like this loan partner has list reports. And so, and I like list reports, there's other useful things, and so why not? But the most lenders have material that they can share with you. And so we'll talk about that in another class. How about that? So you could use other people's canned material and just post it. If you're, if I don't have a loan partner, how much could I expect? Keeping current matters. It's free content pricing, $29.95 a month. And if you're interested in seeing under the hood, oops. Come on. All right, well, it's going to be slow because I'm paying attention. So it'll do automatic posting. Isn't that great? I don't have to, this is what most real estate agents want. I want to sign up for something. I want them to post everything for me. I'm not good at writing, and I'm not even good at reading, and I don't want to do that. All I want are leads. Don't you understand? That's all I want. So I'm going to pay somebody, and they're going to post it, and I'm going to get leads. Okay, that's the idea. Yeah, that doesn't work very well, right? It doesn't work very well. And first of all, I'm not the only one that has the subscription, but other people do. Well, the 21 forecast doesn't call for why the 2021 forecast doesn't call for a foreclosure crisis. That's today's post, right? Not a bad one. They have videos as well. It's going to take a moment to load, but you get the idea, right? So for $30 a month or so, they give you stuff to post. Now, by the way, most of this stuff I've already got. When I go to Google News, I have created a search about the foreclosure crisis. And so when I click on it, I see articles about what's going on. And in fact, I'm making another video. I did a video update on Santa Clara County, and I'm doing one on the United States where I'm using material that comes from the National Association of Realtors. And it's talking about the foreclosure crisis. So if you have a list of topics and you put them into Google, Google will help you find content. If you want, you could just pay somebody to do it, but you understand, don't expect that that's going to produce a lot, right? Because it's not unique content, right? Everybody with a subscription is posting the same thing, word for word, picture of the same thing. All right, so maybe you're not good at writing, you don't even like to read, you certainly don't want to do this, it's not everybody's cup of tea, as it were, but you could come up with a list of topics. Now what would you do? Well, you could find somebody to do it for you. Now, Fiverr, and I'm not sure how many, I don't want to go with that one. How many logins do I have at Fiverr? Probably, that's the wrong one. I'll just do this for now. I have a real login, but blog, blog writing, writing blog articles, search engine optimization blog writing, blog WordPress, blog posts. Social media and social media marketing manager, post design, social media kit, content. Video marketing, YouTube video marketing, animated video marketing, video marketing. Let's just pick blog writing. How about blog content writing services? So starting at $5, they always cost more than that. And you look for people, right? You go through and you can, let's just pick one. They give you their ranks, blog content that compels and sells. There's some people that have reviewed it. 389 people have given this seller a 5.0 rank. Now, if we look over here in pricing, 5 days delivery up to 300 words, up to 3 focus words, $65. $125 is a longer one, right? I'm just saying. Right now, I haven't clicked on all of them to see who else is out there, but you get sort of a sense for this. Do you know anybody who's a good writer who's unemployed? I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. So you could get people to do this for you. But, every one of these pieces, email marketing, YouTube, I didn't even get a chance to talk about that. Maybe we'll do a class on YouTube, right? Now that I've hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm really pushing that a little bit more, and we can cover some of the things you could do on YouTube. That doesn't cost anything. In fact, YouTube has the ability of you making money by marketing. Isn't that great? You make the right kind of videos, people watch them. If you get up to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, that's my next goal. I've got the 1,000 subscribers, but 4,000 hours of watch time in the last 12 months. At that point, your YouTube channel can be monetized by Google. That means that Google can run ads that you could get a cut of on your YouTube channel. If you say yes to that, by the way, when Google says, do you want to do this? Because when Google is running ads on your channel and on your videos, Google now is way more motivated to have people look at your videos, right? So the amount of viewership you're going to get is going to go up. The views are going to go up once you become monetized, right? So there's a bunch of different strategies. If you're like, I hate video, I'm not going to make videos, I don't want to be on video, don't do YouTube. But if you're like, hey, I like making videos, I think that's fun, I walk around with a selfie stick and I take videos of me talking about things, there's lots of good examples. You can do real estate business from doing things like that. By making videos all the time. Remember, YouTube is the #2 search engine. All right, I've been using Google. Google, of course, owns YouTube, but YouTube is the #2 search engine. Bing is #3. Twitter is #4. When we're counting where do people type in searches. So if you have content, and by the way, even if people aren't searching for a video on home remodeling, because they're probably using Google to do the search and you have a YouTube video on that topic, you'll notice how Google will throw in YouTube videos on the first page of the search engine results page, right? The Google page, they'll throw in videos from YouTube because they own YouTube and they want people to go to YouTube too, because then there are ads there, right? So every one of these things, from Facebook to Instagram to LinkedIn to email marketing to YouTube, to TikTok, to all of them is in and of itself in its own session and its own strategy, right? And so you pick the ones that you have an affinity for, preferably ones you're already good at and like doing, and you develop a plan. Anyhow, that's enough for today. Tomorrow we're still having the how to get the best rate when you're searching for a loan. That's something you could invite people to if you wanted. I don't, just saying. And it wouldn't hurt for you guys to hear that too. So that's tomorrow. I think it's been on the email. That's all I got for today. Thank you all for participating, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.